Today on the Flash Traffic Podcast, Eric and I talk about the fallacy that the U.S. had no strategy in attacking Iran. We talk about ghost fleets and ghost ships, our European allies, an FPV drone that attacked a U.S. military base in Iraq, Ukrainians shooting down a Russian attack helicopter with a drone, and more. Okay, let's go.
Conflict, politics, military-industrial complex, technology, war. The Flash Traffic Podcast.
Like a Dungeons and Dragons robe.
I played Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. I was part of a D&D club.
As a kid, you mean when you were in your mid-30s?
Correct.
Oh, that's cool.
I was a paladin.
I'm sure you were.
Dude, it was the best one. It's a cross between like fighting and being a magician or a wizard or whatever.
Shit. Hey, speaking of fighting, we have some bad news on the Flash Traffic Podcast. We're rolling, by the way. Chuck Norris is dead at 86.
I saw that.
Chuck Norris this morning. Just saw it.
That is
tragic.
a shame.
Tragic. It's a shame because we held him out as the prototypical, example of longevity, right? He's never going to die.
He was in good shape.
Yeah, it was great shape into his 80s. He looked awesome. Let's look at this. I have a clip just in honor, in homage of Chuck Norris, Walker, Texas Ranger. Apparently, The Way of the Dragon and the fight scene with
that's old
Bruce
school,
Lee and
bro.
Chuck Norris is supposed to be the classic
Old school, dude.
Old school martial arts scene in a movie.
Bro, roll it.
I'm rolling it. You
Look at the fake background.
It's supposed to be the Roman Coliseum.
Oh, yeah, look at the fake background. They just painted some shit on a wall.
They don't look like they're going to fight, taking their clothes off nice and slow. They look like they're going to do something else.
Oh, dude, he needs a shave, dude. Shave that shit.
He's slowly, and then Bruce Lee's like slowly taking his clothes.
Oh, no, not
this
the
looks
back
like the
hair,
start
bro.
of a porno. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the start of a gay man porno.
I just threw up in my mouth.
They're taking their clothes off. They're warming up, shaking their hair, nice and slow. And now they're doing forms, like karate forms.
Dude, they got to show their skills, bro. They're showing their skills.
Isn't this kind of goofy though? Like, what would happen if this was like MMA?
Not
like,
goofy. Oh, look at Bruce Lee. He's like, I got this, bro.
What if these guys were like, look, he's doing karate forms. What if this was just MMA? Like Chuck Norris against somebody that's an MMA
No, look at
fighter.
that stretch. Look at that hamstring stretch. Like Bruce Lee, he's got your ass, bro.
No, answer my question.
Oh, what's your
Chuck
question?
Norris
You have nonsense
versus
question.
Chuck Liddell. Chuck Norris versus Chuck Liddell. There'd be no contest, right?
Chuck Liddell would drop him in 60 seconds.
Yeah, probably in 60 seconds. That's would be generous. It would be like, did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when Brad Pitt fought the Bruce Lee in that movie?
No, but was that good? Is that a good movie?
Oh, excellent movie.
Oh, okay. I need to watch it.
If you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you go out, rush. Just end the podcast right now. I'll do it by myself. You go watch that movie. Brad Pitt, spoiler alert, Brad Pitt, who's like a stuntman in the movie, beats the shit out of Bruce Lee, who's really funny. It might be the funniest scene in the movie, but that's just the way I'm wired.
Dude, you're not going to show the rest of the fight scene?
It went to a commercial. I'm not going to show anymore. Okay. It's kind of goofy. I don't think it's the best martial arts cinematic event in history. I think people are just saying that to honor Chuck. The best. Oh boy, Kumite. Yeah. What's that? What's the name of that movie with Van Damme when he's fighting in the Kumite?
Yeah,
I forgot the name.
Yeah,
that scene is the best, where he picks up the thing and he throws it in his face. Okay, maybe not, but yeah. Well, anyways, they're having a rematch in heaven now. Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, dead at 86. Walker, Texas Ranger. That's too bad. All right, let's talk about Iran. The war in Iran has been going on for almost 3 weeks now. And we have not talked about it since the beginning, really, because we've had different podcast guests on for the last couple of weeks. So let's just jump into Iran. Here's an article. Okay, the title of this New York Times article, and of course, I'll put all these references in the show notes. If you're wondering where we get our information, read the show notes. You can read it for yourself. The article says, quote, strikes deliver another blow to Iran's domestic energy sites, end quote. So basically what's going on is the U.S., as of yesterday, has hit over 8,000 targets.
It's a lot.
With missiles and bombs.
That's a lot.
And also Shahed drones. We have, as you may or may not be aware, we have our own Shahed drones now called Lucas, I think.
We copied them from the
We
Iranians.
copied it, yeah. They're cheap.
Who makes
easy
them?
to make.
Anduril?
Easy to copy.
Who makes them?
I don't know. You have to maybe chat GPT. Who makes a Lucas knockoff Shahed US drone? But we've hit 8,000 targets, and Israel has hit about as many. And the interesting thing is a lot of these strikes, they were careful not to strike their export oil business, but installations that deal with internal energy. So the article goes on, quote, significant amounts of gas have been removed from the grid, end quote. So they are very careful not to hit the export energy and drive up oil prices even more. But they've been hitting the ones that affect Iran internally. What do you think about that?
I just want to close out that the Lucas low-cost, uncrewed or unmanned combat attack system, they had to put all those words together to spell out
Exciting.
Lucas.
Yeah, you got to mix them up. Yeah.
Is made by Spectreworks in
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them either, in Arizona.
How much do you think they charged it for those, the U.S. government? I bet they're $50,000 a piece. Maybe $100,000.
They say here $35,000.
Oh, that's good. That's about what it cost Russia to make them. So good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not bad price wise.
Well, excellent. Well, good. That's a little minor win. So what we haven't hit yet, and you probably heard of this, at least not the oil facilities, but a place called Karg Island, where Iran exports a lot of their oil through the Gulf and around the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently we've hit any military targets on that place, but we haven't hit their capacity to export oil through the Gulf. And I thought that was interesting. Okay, the title of this article is, quote, as war with Iran hurts oil prices, U.S. turns to Iranian boats for help, end quote. So in an attempt to lower oil prices, the United States is now allowing Iranian semi-ghost fleet boats to sell oil, Russian oil, on the open market. So we had to reduce sanctions against the Russian ghost fleet. We reduced sanctions. We already relaxed those sanctions on Russia. And now we're allowing Iran to sell Russian oil on the open market. So is anything surprising here?
I'm just trying to figure out how fucking stupid is the Trump regime. And it's hard to do. We would have to do like a stupidity scale.
From 1 to 10?
How fucking stupid
11
is the trio of Trump, Rubio, Hegseth, circus clowns. I mean, it gets better every day.
You know what? Europe and Ukraine
incredible incompetence.
But Europe and Ukraine did the same thing with Russian oil and gas. Ukraine, it was only less than a year ago, Ukraine stopped the transport of Russian oil and gas across Ukraine.
Okay.
So markets, the economy and the markets are usually separate from the war effort, which it shouldn't be, because it should all be a strategic effort. But I guess, countries and alliances make they make judgment calls and they weigh the benefits against the costs. In a strategic sense. I hope that's what's going on. I
Yeah,
hope there's some math to this.
there is no math to this. The Trump regime are run by capitalist cronies, special interest groups. The U.S. is basically Israel's State Department. We're Israel West. Hey, bro. Hey, Rubio. This is what I need you to do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you got it, BB. I do whatever you want, bro. I work for you.
That doesn't sound ridiculous at all, but okay.
Well,
It's
that's
slightly ridiculous.
so. Who do you think is driving? What drove the U.S. war against Iran?
You
Tell
think
me
it's the cabal
intelligently.
of Jews with space lasers? Is that what you're telling me? That's drive U.S.
So
foreign policy?
I don't know what you mean by Jews. I know about the state of Israel and Israel
Okay.
foreign policy. Why did we invade Iraq? Tell me why we invaded Iraq.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, they
You
didn't
mean the
have
first
any.
time?
Yeah, they didn't have
Oh,
any. It was
we
a
didn't know
lie.
that though.
It was a
We
lie.
didn't know
Yeah, we did know it. You know,
Eh.
yeah, we did. You know, someone called Curveball. Yeah, we knew it. It was a lie. Yeah, who's Curveball? Who's Curveball?
We talked
Who's
about it
Curveball?
before. Yeah, we
The
talked about it before.
discredited, single source, human source that was supposedly trying to sell the idea
Right.
that we
Yeah, that's
we
right.
needed to invade Iraq, which was a complete lie, and that's why Colin Powell resigned as Secretary of State. He said the whole war is a lie. It's all made up. This is a complete fabrication to justify an invasion of Iraq. It was all a made up bullshit fucking lie. You know, when I was in Iraq, there was a branch of a scam going around called Red Mercury.
Yeah, right.
Supposedly
I remember that.
some kind of nuclear-ish something red. I'm like, what the fuck is Red Mercury? Google it. It doesn't mean anything. But that was
It was
like
just made up shit.
yeah, tied, but made you think it was like uranium related or WMD related stuff that we got complete fabrication. I'm sure informants got paid to reveal it and it was all a made up scam. So if you don't think the U.S. under certain leadership completely lies to the American public and commits to wars and invasion based on complete lie and fabrication, you would be incorrect. The U.S. does do that. The
I would agree
Iraq
with you.
invasion was a made up lie. I did 3 tours there. I'm like, where's the WMD, bro? Like, we'll look for it. We'll find it. Where's the information? Where's the intel? There is none because there was none. And
Well-
then there's like law of unintended consequences. Did Iraq roll out like you thought it would? No. We saw Rumsfeld lying for years of how there was no insurgency. Really, bro? One of the biggest
Well-
insurgencies in the world, and you're going to sit there as a talking head and
Okay,
lie
now-
to the administration that there's no insurgency? Yeah, bro, it's the
Sure.
biggest insurgency in the world.
Sure, generals have always lied. I mean, look at Vietnam and the body count thing. I mean, they're always lying. Generals are always lying
Yeah,
about.
well, I'm not talking about
success.
generals. I'm talking about
and-
Rumsfeld, Secretary of Defense. I'm talking about Bush, the President of the United States.
But
I'm
generals
talking
too.
about the Vice President.
Those,
Sure.
CENTCOM commander fudges the numbers. There's no, there's no insurgency, and then Rumsfeld has the numbers to say there's no insurgency. So it all
was
starts.
political.
It all starts with the general officer.
It doesn't. I'm going to debunk the bullshit you just
Okay.
rolled out. It's a political lie by the
Mhm.
administration to cover their ass that there was no reason to invade, and then you spinning the narrative, the Iraqis will welcome the Americans as liberators, shows you how fucking ignorant you are. And by that, Rumsfeld and Bush and the neocons, that you'll be embraced by the Iraqis because you saved them. In any Middle Eastern country, you'll be welcomed, air quotes, for about 6 months. Then all of them will band against you and say, "Get the fuck out. It's our problem."
That's
happened in
your
Iraq,
doctrine.
Happened in
That's
Afghanistan.
Eric Leon doctrine.
So
6
this
months,
is called
you got to get out.
This is called observation of what's already happened. You want to talk about the debacle in
No,
Afghanistan?
I don't. I want to get
Okay,
back to
so-
the ghost
yes,
fleet.
Right, so
in
let's
Iran.
get to Iran.
Wait.
Why did we attack Iran? Why are you doing this softball topics of like talking about like tactics of a drone? Why did we start a war with Iran? Address it.
Oh, you want me to address? That's a small
Why?
topic. We got plenty of
Why?
time to
No,
address
why?
it.
Why?
But,
What
okay,
foreign policy are we following? Why did we attack Iran?
this is something that I think about a lot since we've started a war with Iran in the last 2.5 weeks. Does Trump really need to articulate an exact reason, like we found something exact, or is it enough to just say Iran is a terrible actor on the world stage? Everybody can agree with that. Iran is pursuing nuclear weapons. Everybody can agree with that. And if Iran gets nuclear weapons, that's going to be very, very bad for the global commons.
Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Why
and
did
it's
we
very,
attack them?
very bad for the global commons and nuclear proliferation and stability in Pakistan and India.
Yet
right?
Trump
It's not a good thing.
campaigned on the exact opposite.
Okay,
We have no business
right,
being in Iran. We have
First of
no
all,
business having a war with it. Any war will be a distraction from failed domestic policies. His exact quotes. Explain this to me.
He's a goofy hypocrite. I'm not
Goofy
disagreeing with
or
that.
a corrupt criminal paid off hypocrite.
That too. But listen, can you agree to all those things I said about Iran?
Iran's a terrible place. So's Afghanistan.
Can you agree with that?
Why did we leave it? Why did we leave Afghanistan? They're a bad government. They support terrorism.
Are they pursuing a nuclear weapons program that is going to destabilize the Middle East?
Not at this time. What about North Korea?
Well,
North Korea has nuclear weapons.
Well,
why haven't we removed that? Oh, so once you get it, what about Pakistan?
Fait accompli.
Why did we let them get it to begin with?
We did. Oh, that's a long story, but we didn't know they were getting it.
We had no idea.
Yeah,
we did. You didn't know North Korea was getting it?
North Korea, we did. But
okay.
Pakistan.
But what happened? Look, so was there? Where's the nuclear attacks and warfare from those countries?
I want to address Pakistan real quick because I was in the Middle East when Pakistan tested their first nuclear device, and we had no idea. Not me in the infantry, mechanized infantry battalion had any idea.
By the way,
the United States.
Thank you for your service.
Listen.
Thank you for your service.
We had no idea, and apparently it's because they did all their clandestine intelligence about the nuclear program over fiber optics, which was a new thing for Pakistan. And we had been collecting signals intelligence in the air from satellites and other sources. So that's why we didn't know, but we know for a fact that Iran is pursuing a nuclear weapons program. Is that just simply bad? Isn't it just ipso facto very bad? Iran is bad place. They're doing bad things. So do we need a lot of justification to go fuck them up?
Yeah, you do.
I don't think we do.
When you commit you're a neocon, so you're a 1 inch away from being a Trump dick rider, like 1 inch away. Yeah, you do. When you commit the country to war that you campaigned against and ran your mouth for the last 10 years. Yeah, you do. So whose interests are you serving? You bombed them last summer and you said you totally obliterated their nuclear program and they could never make one for another decade because you also pulled out from the nuclear weapons restraint agreement that was signed before. So this is all you're doing. You pulled out from the agreement that we had. You bombed them. And then DIA says, well, I think you probably set them back. You probably damaged these locations. But overall, and Trump's like, no, you're not. DIA, shut up. You're corrupt. You're leftist. You don't know what you're saying. Only Trump, only the orange clown can make a determination if the weapon systems were obliterated. He said.
That's what Tulsi Gabbard said this week.
Well, Tulsi Gabbard is a Trump
Tulsi Gabbard
said she has no
Tulsi Gabbard
voice.
said, who can make a determination if Iran is a threat?
Only Trump.
And Tulsi Gabbard, in front of Congress, said only Trump is able to make a determination. Right. And I'm thinking, this is a fat moron that doesn't really know anything. What is he going to determine anything?
She's in pretty good shape.
No, Trump. Man.
Oh, I thought you called her a fat moron.
Gabbard.
No, she's corrupted. She's a compromised.
She's a corrupt lackey.
Trump sock puppet.
I don't think she's stupid, and she's definitely not fat.
No, she's just corrupt.
She's corrupt. I mean, she's a sycophant.
The U.S.
she's a climber.
Yeah,
she's a climber.
The U.S.'s intelligence system has been compromised and no longer has independent thought. Look, and they just parrot whatever Trump wants to hear. And she admitted it. She's like, I can't have independent thought. My
the
opinion
intelligence
is his
community.
opinion.
Look, we just talked about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. The intelligence
exist.
community perennially has political influence in it that alters their published analyses, whatever.
Ooh,
Look,
nice
they're
catch. Nice catch.
they are influenced by politics. Okay,
Oh, for sure.
And they always have been.
If you let them. If you let them. If you're like, only tell me what I want to hear. Trump doesn't take intelligence briefs from CIA. He briefs you. He tells you what's going on. He rants and babbles about shit. They're like, bro, I'm here to brief you on what we know. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear what you got to say.
The only time a nation's intelligence apparatus is not pandering to the political power that be is when they're trying to overthrow that political power in some kind of coup. That's the only time a nation's intelligence apparatus is not directly in service, serving at the pleasure of whatever administration is in power. They are not they have never been an objective. They've never been an objective.
Simplified, confabulated, made up nonsense that you read in a spy novel. Okay, thank you, sir.
No.
Thank you for showing you've never served in the intelligence community. Thank you.
In fact, I have.
Thank you.
Many, too many decades of my life in the intelligence.
Oh, you were MI weenie, weren't you, for a while?
I was military intelligence.
Yeah, right, which is really not in the intelligence community. Army doesn't do intelligence.
Here's the bottom line on does Trump need to
what is the bottom? Tell me about the bottom line. I want to hear it. Yeah.
I just kind of explained it, but let me.
You didn't explain shit. You babbled.
Okay, let me explain it one more time.
Yeah.
Because
try to do it intelligently.
Nice for you.
Try to do it intelligently.
Look, Iran is a bad actor.
Okay.
And even though Trump said before he got elected that he is not going to start foreign wars, and he's a hypocrite.
He mentioned Iran specifically. He campaigned on Iran.
Let me finish, or we'll never finish. Let me finish, or we can just keep going back and forth. Even though he's a hypocrite and he's a liar and he's kind of a dumbass,
is he corrupt?
And he's probably very corrupt.
Is he a criminal?
Can I finish? Yes, he's a criminal. He's a convicted felon. Okay, look, even with all of that, Iran is a bad player, a bad actor. And I don't believe that Trump needs to really do a really deep dive into why we need to attack this country.
To commit the U.S. to a war, he doesn't have to explain anything. So was this like what, Dictator 101? Like, hey, this is the Putin doctrine. I do whatever the fuck I want.
I didn't say he doesn't need to explain anything.
You just said he didn't.
He doesn't need to make a strong argument on why we need to attack
the
Iran.
U.S. to a war. He doesn't have to make an argument. Thank you, Dictator 101. Tony just can't stop being a Trump dick rider. He's like 1 inch away from doing it.
He doesn't need to make a strong argument because it's ipso facto that this country needs to be taken care of.
Taken care of how? So let's go to planning. So now that you think,
hold on, we'll get to planning later.
Trump can just be a dictator, doesn't have to explain anything to the American voter because apparently we don't have a democratic country anymore. He just does whatever the fuck he wants and commits America's sons and daughters to war, and you just say fuck it. Who gives a shit? That's good. So let me know when we get to planning.
Let's get to planning later. Okay, I have that on the agenda. We'll get to planning.
Cool. All right.
Planning for the war and how it's gone.
So that should be about a 10-second conversation to discuss the plans.
With you, it'll be about half an hour of.
So you can continue to ride Trump's dick. That's pretty cool.
Okay, that's hilarious.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, can we get back to the Ghost Fleet?
Let's do it.
Now I have to show the article again because I've lost the bubble on this.
Oil's treated differently. Oil's a strategic commodity. It gets treated differently. It's not okay just cutting it off or disrupting it.
The economy.
You make exceptions for it.
Right. You make exception for the global economy because you don't want the global economy to crash.
So maybe you would have planned it. Maybe you would have planned this better. Just saying.
We'll get to planning later.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's finish this Ghost Fleet article because I think there's some nuggets of information in here that I find interesting. So he's allowing these Iranian ships to sell Russian oil. And this recent decree.
Oh my God.
It applies to about 370 Iranian oil tankers that are currently carrying Russian oil.
That sounds
Half
like a
of
lot.
half of those were sanctioned under the Ghost Fleet Act, for lack of a better term. So half of those were previously sanctioned for carrying Russian oil, but now they're fine. And all of this is an attempt. All of this is an attempt to lower oil prices. The price of oil is up about 40% in the United States since the start of the war. And according to the United States EIA, Energy Information Administration, which I had never heard of. I didn't know they even existed.
You're kidding me.
No, I didn't. Or maybe I just forgot. Maybe I just forgot.
Oh my God, this is good. This is good today.
The EIA, I either I've forgotten they existed or I never heard. How did they not get doged? I figured they would be someone that would get doged.
No one got doged because those no talent ass clowns didn't find any waste, fraud, and abuse, and then did not cut down the deficit.
Stay on target
because they were fucking ass clowns.
Stay on target.
Why'd you bring it up, dude? Why you race-baiting me?
USAID to get doged. Okay, let's go to this. According to them, 50% of gas prices in the United States is the price of oil. 18% of gas prices is taxes. Here's an interesting thing that I didn't know. The federal part of those taxes is fixed at exactly 18.4 cents per gallon. Isn't that interesting? That the federal tax, if the price of gas goes up to $6 a gallon, the federal tax stays exactly the same, 18.4 cents. In Europe, what do you think the percentage of gas prices in Europe are taxes?
Half.
Pretty close. 60% in Europe. 60%. That's kind of amazing. That's pretty amazing. Anyways, the U.S. doesn't want to disrupt the global economy. Okay,
but it did,
and
but Trump did.
They did, and this is a big win for Iran. This is a big win for Russia.
Temporary.
Even though, did you know that we like to say Russia is a gas station with an army, but only 20% of the Russian economy comes from petroleum products. Did you know that? 20% of the Russian economy is petroleum products. 40%, although 40% of government revenue comes from petroleum products. So this is a big win to allow these Iranian tankers to just transit the Gulf and sell Russian oil. Do you know what? You know what would be smart? If this was all a big ploy to allow the U.S. Navy to follow these tankers through the Strait of Hormuz so we can tell where the landmines are. Wouldn't that be brilliant? You think that the Navy and the Secretary of the Treasury and the Trump administration came up with that plan?
So you're spinning this as a clever plan.
That was just a hypothesis
of the Trump idiocracy who can't plan past like tying his shoes in the morning.
I'm not saying this is a brilliant plan. This is a plan to lower global oil prices. I get that.
That you increased.
Right. That the administration maybe inadvertently increased.
No, maybe inadvertently. Yeah, well, get off the ketamine, bro. Of course they increased the price of oil across the world. What are you smoking crack? That's exactly what this war did.
Do you think you
didn't predict that?
It's just a hypothesis, though, that wouldn't it be brilliant if they're tracking these so they could tell where the naval mines are in the strait?
And that would be
just
amazing to see that that's where the U.S. Navy is technologically. Yeah, you don't really need us. We can't provide you any of that. Just have these idiots drive ahead of us. Couldn't the Navy just have like bumper boats ahead of them? We got a drone boat. We'll just drive it ahead.
I don't know a lot about counter mining operations, but I don't know if that would work because there's tons of different mines. There's sensor mines that activate when they sense large metal objects.
That's why you have Navy SEALs, bro. They handle it.
You think they're going to handle it? And dolphins.
Kick some SEAls out there. They got this.
And dolphins. We use dolphins. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we still use dolphins for anti-mining operations.
I think mainly for
Trained dolphins.
defense, like in ports.
Oh,
I
maybe.
think. I know. I
The
think
Russians use them.
I saw like a team in San Diego, a dolphin team once, just in San Diego near a Navy base, and yeah, I think that is a
Wait,
a
how did you
technique.
see a dolphin team? Were you like in the water?
We were by the water, bro, on a port.
Yeah. And there were dolphins just like playing?
No, they were
the
with
pens?
Navy. They were with Navy personnel.
Were the Navy personnel riding them or what? Just
Okay,
walking?
are you gonna
next to them,
stop
or
the
what?
fucking really? So are you gonna just do nonsense all day? The fuck
Okay,
is
no,
wrong
it
with
is
you?
Friday. It is Friday.
You can say whatever you want.
It is Friday. Oh, let's get to planning. You're really
Yeah. Give me the
motivated to
plan.
talk
Yeah.
about planning.
Okay. Give me the 10-point plan. Go ahead.
Okay, this a lot of people have been, a lot of pundits and air quotes experts have been saying that Trump had no plan. He just bombed the shit out of Iran without a plan, and these secondary and tertiary effects were completely unforeseen. And I'm here to say that's complete horseshit. And we know from military planning.
They foresaw all this. Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, hold on. Let me start with a quote from a historian that writes a lot about strategy and current events.
Mick Ryan?
No.
A real podcaster? Oh.
Yeah, close. Phillips O'Brien.
Oh, he's sharp, dude. He's sharp, dude.
I will put his, as everything we reference, I will put it in the show notes. I do not recommend you go and actually read this pablum, but I will quote him here. This is on not having a strategy in Iran. Quote, what he's done, Trump, is caught himself without a strategic plan. They never thought the second and third order effects. They were nowhere down wondering, typos, what would happen if the Strait of Hormuz was cut and they couldn't get anything out of the Gulf. And I think they're just making it up now as they go along, end quote. Correct. And this does not surprise me for somebody who has not spent 1 nanosecond in the military or has done any sort of military planning whatsoever. I get that. That is what I would expect from somebody that doesn't know what he's talking about.
But we did, but we did military planning in Iraq and didn't predict shit.
But
all the great military planners couldn't predict their head up their ass with Iraq. What's that get you? What's that get you?
Okay, but what I'm saying is the old saying that no plan survives first contact with the enemy. I get that. We're not going to have the exact solution before we go in. Nobody ever has that. But to say that
requires planning. Yeah, right.
But to say that we don't plan, because I spent a lot of time in the military doing op plans, wargaming op plans.
Thank you for your service. Plans. Thank you for your sacrifice and what you did. Thank you.
Thanks. But we have a number of op plans for a number of scenarios. 80-10 for nuclear. Taiwan is 50-77, op plan 50-77 for attacking when the Chinese are attacking Taiwan. Korea's 50-27. I worked on both of those for years, war games, developing branches and sequels. What happens now?
One second. I got to weigh in on that. Thank you for your service.
That's what you had to say?
Thank you.
You had to interrupt me to say.
I appreciate the sacrifice you did doing that. Thank you.
Most of those planning sessions were in Hawaii, so you don't thank me. I thank the U.S. government.
Well, you're as corrupt as the Trump regime.
I don't think so. But look, and then Middle East, I think is the 1,000 series plans. So we do.
What could go wrong?
We do have plans, and we knew what was going to happen in the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. The military did.
Okay.
Look, look. In the 1980s, when Iran and Iraq were fighting. Iran did the same thing. All right. And it was a key component of Iran's naval strategy is to mine the Strait of Hormuz and stop traffic. And the Iraqis did it in the 90s, not in the same place, but they did the same sort of thing. So this is not a surprise to us. We didn't go in there without a plan. We didn't have part of that plan wasn't completely devoid of the idea that Iran is going to mine the Strait of Hormuz and shut down shipping. You think there weren't tons of naval strategists that deal with this all the time and are constantly wargaming this exact strategy?
So you're saying they wargamed it, but have no solution to it?
There's not a published solution on how to win a war before you go into the war.
Oh, really? Thought like a general staff does something like that.
Look, there's another saying.
There's no plan how to win a war.
There's another.
You dropping ketamine?
You haven't done any planning. You weren't a planner. You haven't done any kind of.
Yeah, apparently you didn't learn a whole lot from it either. That doesn't make me sleep better at night.
The plan is nothing. Planning is everything.
Is everything.
That's another.
Thanks, Clausewitz.
But look,
and here you are asking NATO to help you provide support because you planned it so well and you knew you had to do
NATO
that.
In a second.
You knew you had to do that, sure.
You must have read my notes. I don't believe that you actually read anything that I sent you, but
I don't. I'm busy, dude. I got shit I'm working on.
Jumping ahead, but we'll talk about.
I didn't even know you had all this stuff lined out. I had no idea.
I said it. I send it to you every time.
I don't read it, dude. I'm busy. I know you are
not well prepared.
You are Batman. I am Robin. I'm the color guy. That's it.
Do you even read the source material?
No, I don't have the time for that shit. Dude, you're the big brain. Man. I'm the color guy. That's it.
Okay, look, I think the bottom line in planning for these jackasses like Phillips O'Brien to say that there is no plan, Trump had no plan, and look what happened. They closed the Strait of Hormuz. I think that's absolutely wrong. I think it's ridiculous. And if some of these analysts had spent 5 seconds in the military doing any kind of planning, they would know that we had op plans for this. We had branches, sequels, contingencies for all of this. And
but you just had no solution. So you planned for it, but you had no answers.
No, there's no solution.
Okay, there's no solution. Yeah, there's just we just bumble around. Hey, could you tell me about the op plan you worked on to invade Greenland? Is that a plan you worked on? What op plan is that?
That's classified.
Because the Trump regime just plans everything and it makes sense. And they're so prepared. They have a plan to annex Greenland, right? Do you know what that plan is?
As an aside, apparently Denmark was on full alert planning to thwart the invasion of Greenland.
So whenever
I don't know what they were going to do, but they were planning for it.
Whenever anyone wants to say how well prepared and thought out the Trump Rubio Hegseth clown show trio is, I got two words for you: Greenland annexation. You're the dumbest motherfucker if you think this administration is planning things out intelligently and looking at third order facts. I got one word for you: fucking Greenland. So whenever you want to tout about the genius in the planning of the administration, I will show you how they were buck-toothed hillbilly dumb fucks. And I got one word for you: fucking Greenland. That's how much intelligent strategic thought.
Fucking Greenland is 2 words.
Well, it's parentheses. It's just Greenland.
Is it hyphenated? Then we can say it's 1 word.
Brilliant. That's the brilliance of the administration. That's just on display. Who's running Venezuela, bro?
Hey,
who's running Venezuela, bro?
Can I wrap up the
Stephen Miller? Stephen Miller, the fucking acting governor of Venezuela. Who's running it, bro?
Stephen Miller, the creeper.
There's so much thought into this, and there's so much planning, and you've planned out all these branches. Who's running Venezuela, bro?
Can I finish the?
Yeah, it's an awkward question. My bad.
We're not talking about Venezuela.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about that. Sorry, yeah.
Hey, focus.
I'm focused on administration stupidity. That is the continuing
theme. Overarching theme. That is an overarching theme. But look, this is kind of an aside. I just wanted to bring this up because
what do you got now?
I have kind of like a minor hobby of following the USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier.
What?
Because it costs $13 billion and the toilets don't fucking work.
Dude, you're a freak, dude. Like nobody does that.
Look,
you make Dungeons and Dragon dudes look fucking mainstream, dude.
On 12 March, there was a huge fire. Oh God, what weirdo. On 12 March, there was a huge fire that broke out in the dryer vents in the main laundry facility of the USS Gerald
It
Ford.
happens. Could happen in your house.
There was a 30-hour battle to fight the blaze, and apparently 600 sailors, they lost their living quarters temporarily, whatever. I just thought that was interesting, that after $13 billion, we still have all these problems with this aircraft carrier. Dirty dryer lints.
Dude, it happens in your house. It could happen on a ship.
Hey, but I clean my lint traps. Don't you clean your lint traps? Because that's a huge fire hazard.
Correct, it is. And that's why that's why you have homeowners insurance.
Do you have aircraft carrier insurance? No.
It's called the U.S. taxpayer.
Yeah.
You're their insurance. I'm their insurance.
Not a good plan.
Is there a point with all this? The Ford aircraft, like,
no, it was a
tying this in.
It's a war weave.
War weave Friday.
War weave Friday.
Say whatever I want.
It's a really, really good aircraft carrier. I've been told.
Now, I would like to thank those sailors for their service.
No, they're lazy and they didn't clean their lint traps.
Motherfucker, don't go there. You don't know what happened.
Up, sailors.
You don't know what happened. That's fucked up.
I just think for $13 billion, we could have better lint traps.
That is a racist comment. I will not stand by that.
Well, how is that a racist comment?
You are prejudicial towards the Navy. I will not stand for that. I respect their service.
Whatever.
Don't come for me, bro. Come for him. Don't come for me. Come for him.
Okay. Let's switch gears slightly.
Jesus, what?
And talk about European allies, or I put allies in quotes.
Okay, so now next topic. Because we don't have any. Trump has destroyed the U.S. alliance system.
Okay.
Next topic. Let's talk about lint traps more.
Okay. This comes from Defense News, which is a rag, but I just wanted to get the title out there.
Oh, bro.
Quote,
they use German and French words. Damn, bro. I know. That's crazy.
And I'm going to say them.
Quote, geez.
European allies tell Trump no and no to help force open
that's Spanish,
Hormuz
Czech,
Strait.
And Norwegian. Okay,
you're ridiculous. To help force open the Hormuz Strait. Apparently, NATO is not going to help us. Okay, Trump said,
you don't need their help. We don't need NATO's help.
Yeah.
NATO are free riders. We don't need help. Well,
they are,
because Trump planned this out so well. Because the U.S. military planned this so well. Because Hegseth and Rubio are strategic geniuses. They planned it so well. We don't need anyone's help. Europe is a burden. Europe is old Europe. We don't need their help. So this must be fake news.
Yeah, look, this gas crisis or oil crisis is going to hurt Europe more than it's going to hurt the United States.
Created by the United States. Okay.
Okay, well, that's beside
because they thought this through and they coordinated with allies for help ahead of time. Or they didn't.
But here we are now.
But they didn't?
Here we are now.
Oh, but they didn't plan it. Oh, and Trump doesn't need to make a case to the American people of why he committed our nation to war, and it doesn't need any congressional review of oversight. Yeah, because that makes sense. Greenland.
Are you?
Because the administration makes so much sense. Because there's so much logic. In the fucking,
I'm just going to keep going on with this.
The Trump administration, there's so much strategic
I'm going to continue
planning.
on to the allies and Trump. And look, I think this oil situation is going to hurt Europe more than it's going to hurt the U.S. And we are already here. Look, we're already in this situation. So here we are now. Europe doesn't want to do it. And I feel like this is some kind of reverse or inverse or perverse cult of personality where Europe is just not going to, they're going to spite their face or whatever that saying goes. They're just going to shoot themselves in the foot over this oil thing because they don't like Trump and they don't like the way
why don't they like Trump? Why don't they like Trump?
Treated Europe.
Really? Because he treated them like a bunch of asshats?
And now
because he's pulled back on Ukraine? Because he's a Putin dick rider? You can't figure out why NATO isn't really on board with this? Like you can't figure that out? Like that's too deep for you intellectually?
Of course they don't like Trump and they don't like the way Trump pulled this off.
Why is that?
For a lot of reasons.
Wow. You're actually starting to do analysis honest analysis of why NATO isn't really that hot about helping this Trump dickbag who has undermined our U.S. relationship with Europe for the last 15 months and is a Putin dick rider and undermine support for Ukraine. And really, like, you can't figure out by, like, Europe's really not on board with enough.
I get it, and I understand why Europe doesn't want to help. First of all, they really can't help. They don't have a huge military capacity. I get that. And they're mad at Trump because he didn't include them. I get it. But, you know, we're here now, and let's not remember, or let's not forget, how we helped Europe. And I'm not talking about World War I and World War II. Okay, more recently, we bailed out the French after they screwed up Vietnam, and then we screwed up Vietnam. Okay, we bailed out the French again. After Libya blew up in 2011 after the Arab Spring. If you recall, the French did not have enough bombs. Europe did not have enough bombs to bomb the shit out of Libya. And so Operation Unified Protector, we basically had the no-fly zone. And the U.S., was basically bombing military targets on behalf of the French.
Okay, and what's your point?
It led to the violent death and rumored public castration of Muammar Gaddafi, if you recall that, when they captured him.
I do not recall that. I don't track the castration of foreign leaders. My bad.
You should. You could have a whole book.
I've been jumping on the Gerald
public castrations
Ford
of foreign leaders
aircraft carrier train. My bad.
I think
so basically, because of all these other administrations that did stuff for Europe or France, that Europe should now ignore Trump being a dictatorial, condescending, ally-ruining dickbag. They should just all forget that, and now we should just help you after you tried to annex Greenland because you fucked up this war with Iran. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
What I'm saying is that Europe should not be so short-sighted and nearsighted.
So you mean Trump shouldn't be so short-sighted?
Our NATO alliance because of the last 15 months of the Trump administration.
But Trump did that.
They shouldn't just ignore the last 60 years of history.
But Trump did that.
Because Trump is a giant dickbag.
Okay, so your argument basically holds no water unless you're a MAGA sycophant where the cult leader can do no wrong no matter how demented this fucking fat slob is. Greenland. We need Greenland for minerals. There ain't a fucking profitable mine in the entire continent of fucking Greenland. You dumb motherfuckers. So now Trump has destroyed, undermined, ruined so many partnerships in Europe, and you think Europe should suck his dick now because of his fucking incompetent planning? Dude, that's why you're getting a lukewarm response, dude. It is obvious. A kid on the playground gets this.
I'm just saying they should not throw out the baby with the bathwater. They should not throw out 65 years of alliances just because we have 4 years, actually 8 years of some giant orange dick bag. I don't think that's the way they should, approach it.
I guess the orange clown.
It's just like the liberals,
something different.
In this country, it's hard to deal with Trump. It's hard to deal with Trump. It's hard to deal with
because he's a corrupt
Trump administration
criminal
and these
dipshit.
morons. But you know what? What are you going to do? Is everybody going to just pack up and move to Canada because we have 4 years of Trump? What's Europe going to do? They're just going to pack up
government
and leave NATO now because of 4 years.
They're in NATO. They are NATO. They don't need to go anywhere. It's the U.S. across the Atlantic that has to maintain some kind of relationship with them.
Let me throw out some numbers here. Like after 2011, when France did not have enough bombs to take care of their traditional territory of Libya, and we had to step in and basically do it for them and act like they had some kind of
you're stretching
agency.
This. You're stretching this, man. Wow.
No, I'm not. We had to act like France had some agency in Operation Unified Protector when we were bombing the shit out of Libya. Did they increase the size of their military after that? Because they must have learned their lesson. No, they didn't. They did not at all. In fact, after 2014, when Russia invaded Crimea and parts of Ukraine, France actually decreased their military spending. They went from about 60 billion on average down to 55 billion. So did they learn their lesson? No. How does France, let me ask you this, how do you think France even has a nuclear arsenal when they only spend $60 billion a year on their military total? We spend 100 billion just on our nuclear arsenal. Now, granted, France's nuclear arsenal is 6% the size in terms of nuclear warheads that the U.S. is. But, there's still overhead. There's still command and control. There's still things that you have to invest in.
Sure.
To have a nuclear program.
Sure.
And I just don't think $60 billion is enough.
By the way, it's $71 billion they spend on their defense for 2025, just FYI.
Yeah, sorry.
That's converting from euros to dollars.
Right. Well, I was just saying after 2014, it went down to 55 billion for a couple of years.
So this is one of the few things I agree with the Trump regime, and it ain't much, pressuring Europe to spend its 2% at least GDP as a NATO member. And I'm okay with kicking someone out of NATO if you don't spend the 2%. I'm okay with it. Membership comes with requirements. I'm good with it. I'm with Trump on this.
In fact, France does spend over 2% of their GDP on the military. I think they do. But again, going back to my original statement on the nuclear triad, or in their case, the nuclear dyad, because they only have.
Did you say dyad?
I think it's dyad, the nuclear dyad. They only have missiles and nuclear subs. They have 4 nuclear subs. We have 14 boomers.
Did you call me a fucking
only
boomer?
3? Huh?
You call me a fucking boomer?
No, man. The sub nuclear subs.
Oh, my bad. France spends 2.1% of its GDP on
there
defense.
You go. Bam. And only 3 countries, going back to the nuclear dyad, only 3 countries have nuclear bombers.
They're expensive. Boomers. Yeah. Bombers or boomers now?
Nuclear bombers. Now we're on airplanes.
Oh,
sorry,
the
triad. Back to the triad. Sorry. I'm jumping around. I'm war weaving.
Who's got the nuclear bombers?
China, Russia, the United States are the only countries that have nuclear bombers. Why? Because they're fucking stupid. Why in the world do we need 1960s bombers? What a bunch. That's another scam.
Calm down.
Anyways.
Tony, I want you to calm down, bro. I want you to lower the volume.
Look, regardless.
Lower the volume.
Regardless, France's defense budget does not warrant having a nuclear program. I'm more worried about a loose nuke from France than I am from North Korea.
Stop the nonsense.
Because they just don't have the money to take care of it. Okay, I'll leave it at that. We should be worried more about France to lose nukes because they don't spend any money on their defense.
Talking
and they
to
still
you
have a nuclear program.
Is exhausting.
Thank you. Okay, another point about the NATO friendship alliance.
Yeah, is there one? Is there another? All right, let's hear it.
I've got plenty of points. I can talk about fucking Europe all day long. Let's talk about Ukrainian war spending, because this is a war that's going on in Europe's backyard. And yes, the United States did not spend anything. I think it was like maybe 400 million in 2025 on Ukraine as a whole.
Was that like toilet paper?
I don't know what it was spent on.
Paper towels?
Let me pull this up. And of course, I'll put this in the show notes. This is a report. If I can find it. Okay. This is a report from February 2026, so it's very recent, from the Kiel
they
Institute.
Do good work. Kiel does good work.
Kiel Institute for the World Economy. This is like the gold standard for who spent what on Ukraine in the Ukraine war.
Yeah.
According to the Kiel Institute, the United States, since the beginning of this war, has spent around $133 billion. Although the Council on Foreign Relations has published that we have spent $188 billion.
Not much.
So you can believe the Europeans on this, or you can believe our study, whatever. So
Whatever.
133 billion we've spent on Ukraine. And as of February 2026, last month, Europe has spent 223 billion.
Okay.
They have spent more, but this is a war in their backyard.
Sure.
So this is always a sore spot for me, that the United States needs to finance this war in Ukraine at the same level as Europe.
Says who?
Well, says the Europeans, says the Ukrainians, not the Russians, though.
Well, do you want to push back on a mass murdering dictator, or do you want to support a European democracy? Trump wants to support a mass murdering dictator in Soviet Union 2.0. The Republican Party is dead. It doesn't exist. Any of these asshats want to reference Ronald Reagan, who did the morally right thing against the despicable Soviet Union. That's gone. Now you got Trump supporting the mass murdering, despicable Soviet Union 2.0, and he's doing as little as possible as he can.
But this all speaks to NATO and European security and the United States contribution to NATO and European security. 100 and maybe, let's just say, almost 200 billion, almost the same as Europe has spent on their own security. And that doesn't even account for the billions of dollars that we spend every year having U.S. troops in Europe to secure Europe's defense.
Right. So you don't think we should have strategic allies anymore. So that's the Trump notion that we're the big, ugly bully. We don't need anyone for anything. I don't need European allies. Fuck them. Really, in the international state order, with the human species, one of the core principles of humanity is organized violence. We don't need friends. We don't need help. Yeah. Fuck them.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, it kind of sounds like what you're saying. Kind of sounds like what you're saying.
Look, I'm just saying, do we help NATO and Europe? Yeah, we do all the time. We
but
do
not as much as we used to. But not as much as we used to.
We spend billions of dollars.
But not as much as we used to. So you're making an argument that existed 15 months ago. Doesn't exist anymore. The U.S. has stopped donate. Well, you just cited your own statistics of 400 million compared to 185 billion. We don't donate help to Ukraine anymore. We sell it to them like everyone else.
It goes back to my original premise of all this: is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And NATO
Trump shouldn't do that. So Trump shouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater. So NATO shouldn't have a little hissy fit just because we have a terrible president in office, and they're just going to throw away the last 65 years of strategic alliances just because of some short-term idiot is in office. That's what I'm saying. That's the bottom line for me, is that Europe is acting like we never do anything for Europe. And to just because, we raised their gas prices temporarily, and because we wanted to invade Greenland. Come on. Greenland. That shows you how fucking stupid the Republican Party is, and the MAGA dick riders and demented Dawn. We're going to invade Greenland for their rare earth. You dumb motherfuckers. You couldn't be any more corrupt as a political establishment. You couldn't be more corrupt as a political establishment than the Trump MAGA moron regime at this time. I only got one word to say: Greenland.
Greenland, great. Before we get off Europe, and yes, there's a joke there. I want to tell you and the listener.
Almost crossed a line, bro.
I want to tell the listener about this naval attack that occurred in the Mediterranean. And this was a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't get to it because we've had other guests on. But on March 3rd, Ukraine attacked one of the Russian Ghost Fleet ships called Arctic Metagaz, supposedly with a Magura 5 unmanned surface vessel drone, launched supposedly from Libya. Now, it was initially reported that the tanker sunk, but it didn't sink. Perhaps worse, the crew simply abandoned the ship and left this ship floating around the Med.
That might be smart.
For them, probably very smart.
Get the hell out of Dodge, dude.
So now we have a free-floating, a literal ghost ship floating around the Mediterranean between
SEALs.
Malta, Italy, and Libya. That is just an ecological disaster waiting to happen.
SEAL
And they
Team
think
6.
it might be carrying 700 tons of fuel and liquefied natural gas, and nobody wants to take control of it. Italy said they're going to observe.
Why don't they take control of it?
Italy said they're going to observe the situation. Malta, small country, they're not going to do anything.
Why
Libya, Libya's not going to do shit.
If I was Malta, I'd bow up, dude. Like, I run the Mediterranean, bro.
Well, yeah, Greece isn't going to do anything. France has the capacity to do it, but they're not going to do anything. Who else is going to do it? Spain, Monaco? Who's going to actually step up and do something?
Any one of them. I would. Maybe Morocco. If I was Morocco, I'd be like, that bitch is mine. Get out the way. I'm taking it.
Sure.
The Moroccan monarchy now has flagged this tanker. Why not?
Because it's a piece of shit. If you saw the pictures, this tanker is just a garbage piece of shit with a big hole in it. Now, this story again epitomizes Europe's impotence. Again, they can't even go clean up this fucking ship before it has a Valdez oil spill type incident. What the fuck? Europe.
Oh, no, you convinced me. You converted me. I'm with you.
Oh, great. Yay. That was easy. Also, think about the next time you take a cruise around the Med. Not that I would ever do that.
I don't.
But I'm thinking, was there technology transfer from the Ukrainians to the Libyans? Like, are they just going to let the Ukrainians roll up on their shore and launch one of these little mini robot subs?
Yep.
Probably, but I think it's really intriguing. It's almost like the story of how the Ukrainians blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. How did they get those unmanned surface vessels to Libya and tracking the ship and then launching? And it was like 250 kilometers away from the shore of Libya, apparently. I think that was interesting. I think that was
a successful covert op.
Yeah. Interesting. More to come on that story.
Impressive,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
More to come on that story. Okay, let's since we're talking about Ukraine now, let's just shift gears. And it's War Week Friday, so we'll talk about Ukraine because we haven't talked about Ukraine either for a long time.
You have.
So I wanted to kind of update some things on Ukraine. The first thing, a couple months ago, we talked about Sean Penn on this podcast. We talked about Sean Penn loaning one of his Oscars to Zelensky while he was in Ukraine because he goes to Ukraine a lot.
Have you seen One Battle After Another?
I did.
I thought it was great.
It was great. It was better than average.
I thought he nailed it. He nailed his role. I thought better than average. I thought it was amazing. He nailed being a dickbag CBP right-wing white supremacist nut job. You're like, this dude nailed it.
Yes.
Oh, he was good, man. He was good.
He was in the movie. He played
he don't look too good.
He played in One Battle After Another. He played
he was good.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
He played Greg Bavino.
I guess, yeah.
No, dude. He was character was a spitting copy of Greg Bavino, the little midget CBP
immigration guy.
Yeah, dickhead with like a shaved head. Dude, so he nailed that role, dude.
Sean, yeah. So he plays, let me show you this picture while I talk about it. In the movie One Battle After Another.
Oh, bro.
Sean Penn plays Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw.
Oh, he nails this, man.
And he manages an immigration detention center or whatever. Spoiler alert.
In California.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. He, like all good colonels, he panders to the elite and he gets what's coming to him at the end. So I won't spoil it.
Dude, the listenership, you got to see this movie, dude. This is crazy shit. You got to see this movie. This predicted all the riots, the ICE deportations, the resistance, the white supremacy. It is all rolled into this.
in my opinion, it is a way better than average movie, but I wouldn't say you have to rush out and see it. I thought
You're
Sinners.
weak, dude. You're weak.
Did you see Sinners
I did
on
not.
Netflix?
I did not.
I think it's on Netflix. Sinners was better. I liked Sinners much better. Michael B. Jordan. That movie was better than One Battle After Another. I thought, personal opinion. Anyways, getting back to why we're even talking about Sean Penn, not because he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in One Battle or Another,
was good, man.
but because during the ceremony, the award ceremony, he was actually in Ukraine, in Kyiv.
Good for him.
As a snub, he was on a train.
Good for him.
Kyiv.
He's actually showing leadership.
Yeah,
something a Trump tard can't do.
I think it's great. It's a big, first of all, it's keeping Ukraine and the Ukraine war in the news cycle, which I think is admirable. And the other thing, it was a big fuck you to Hollywood. And
good.
all the
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that too. Good for him.
I think someday soon, when this war is over, there will be a statue in Kyiv to Sean Penn.
Did you just quote Apocalypse Now, bro?
No, I didn't. What did I say?
Someday. This war is going to be over.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Duvall says that.
Look at you. You're just
I'm all over
hitting stuff.
I'm
today,
all over
man.
the movies today.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways.
Good for Sean Penn.
Good
at
for
least
Sean Penn.
There's an American showing some leadership who isn't some dickless Putin nut hugger like is the Trump regime and his fucking lackeys. That's what
Hats
leadership
off to
looks
that
like.
guy. Hats off to that guy, Sean Penn.
Sean Penn, thank you for your service. All kinds of service. Thank you for your service.
Human being. Okay, let's kind of segue from Ukraine and
this is Trump's
Sean Penn
This is Trump's
into. I wanted to bring the attention of our audience to Stefan Gorshak's Substack.
Whoa.
Because I think of all the resources that I read on a daily and weekly basis, I think his Substack, which is basically, I'll put it in the show notes. I recommend you subscribe to Stefan Gorshak's Facebook post Substack. He writes for the Kyiv Post, I believe, and every week he consolidates and kind of cleans up his Facebook posts about the war, and he gives it to you in one clean shot on his Substack. And I suggest, if you're interested in Ukraine and following the war, this is one of the best sources of information, I believe, on the war that I have found. Of all the newsletters and all the posts and everything that I read and all the news sources, this is really good. I think ISW is good, but it's a little too verbose. They talk too much about stuff that they don't know. And in fact, I suspect that ISW, the Institute for the Study of Warfare, I think they grab a lot of their stuff from people like Stefan Gorshak.
Like you. Journalists in the field.
Me. They do not. They don't listen to people that go to the field. They
do. They listen to Mick Ryan.
He really goes to the field. We can talk next week about a New York Times reporter that is reporting from the field with Zelensky. We'll get into that next week, I think. Here's just a couple of the highlights of Gorshak's Substack for this week. He says he reports on an idea that it's not just shutting off Starlink to the Russians, but it's also a radical increase by the Ukrainians in the use of FPV drones. That one, they're hitting far behind Russian lines now. They're flying up to 60 kilometers now behind Russia. And that obviously, if you follow this war or war in general, you know that can cause a lot of problems. It's the old goofy cliche, amateurs talk tactics, experts talk logistics, that we tend to say a lot. because we're goofy as well. The Ukrainians are constantly changing the frequency of the drones, and now they're using higher frequency drones and possibly repeater drones. And we've talked about that for months, the use of repeater drones on the battlefield. Something else he talks about this week is using of mass drones for the offense. I thought this was very, very interesting. As we've been talking about for the last couple of months, at least since Starlink was turned off, the Ukrainians are conducting minor offensive operations to shore up their defenses, especially in places like Zaporizhia. According to Korshak, the Ukrainians are using sometimes up to 300 drones in concert to conduct these offensive operations. How do they deconflict all those drones? Nobody knows. Do they even deconflict them very well? My guess is probably not. I have seen firsthand operations, Ukrainian offensive operations with drones and the deconfliction that they have. It wasn't good then, and my suspect is it's probably not that great now. But he mentions that. And then he has a story in this week's Substack, which just if you read the last story alone, it's worth your time. It is a story of, let me pull it up again, and I'll just go to the pictures here. At the end, it's a story about a Ukrainian unmanned ground vehicle, basically a robot, delivering logistics supplies to the front lines about 65 kilometers past, forward. And this robot comes across a Ukrainian fire team evacuating one of their compadres that had been shot up, evacuating him by hand. And apparently the drone comes up to him and the operator uses a speaker on the drone itself. And he's like, Slava Ukraini. And everybody's like, Heroium Slava. And then they start talking about, I just dropped off these supplies. This robot is empty. Why don't you just slab that guy on the robot and I'll evac him so you guys don't have to A, leave your position, and B, carry this guy 50 kilometers or so, which is a big deal, as you know, if you have to carry somebody. So that's the story. This robot evacs this casualty 65 kilometers back to safety. And just reading that story alone was worth your time. So yes, I recommend reading his Substack post.
I want to make a comment on unmanned ground vehicles, UGVs.
Unmanned ground vehicles, yes.
They have no protection. They are not some super capable thing. They are unable to defend themselves. If a drone sees it, they're smoked. They're unable to think. They're unable to problem solve. They're unable to react. I think that's why unmanned systems like ground vehicles have not been a game changer. They get seen by a drone, they're dead. There's no defense. They have no air defense. They have no active protective systems. They have no solution to a drone or loitering munition hitting them either, and they can't problem solve because this is just a dude on a joystick, maneuvering. They have no defense, and that's part of why these unmanned ground vehicles, something like this, great, awesome. If a drone saw it, they were dead. The unmanned system would not know how to react. It wouldn't do anything different. It would just get hit like every other target. And I think that's why you don't see these vehicles taking off, because they have no defense more than a human, and they can't think or problem solve because it's a dude on a joystick. We're just not there yet. We're not at Skynet yet.
Yeah. It's a very limited utility, very secure logistic lines. Like you said, they're zero survivability.
Take what you get. I mean, if that was successful, good for you, man. Good.
Even these ground robots with the 50 cal that are shooting against a linear feature down a road or something, they don't have a lot of survivability either, because you could sneak up on one and just tilt it over. Game over. There you go. You're done. Or smear peanut butter on their optics.
Just not there yet. Technological wise, just not there.
Nope.
It is what it is.
Let's end the War Weave Friday. If you're still with us, God bless you. We always end on videos
right now.
I have two videos. The first one I thought was Shocking, but not
What?
unexpected.
What?
This video was shocking, but not unexpected. Let me find it, if I can find it. Okay, here it is. Okay, this video is of a Hezbollah FPV drone flying through Victory Base.
What?
In Iraq.
What?
Yes. You didn't see this? I sent this to you.
I had heard about that. Is it like a fiber optic drone? Where's the defenses, dude?
I don't think they would even have to use fiber optic drone.
Where's the defense?
Because I don't imagine that Victory Base in Baghdad is even prepared for drone warfare at all. So I doubt if they have electronic warfare suites all over the place.
How do you not prepared for a drone attack on a military base in Iraq?
This is shocking, but not unexpected.
Right. What you said, Hezbollah in Iraq?
Apparently it's Hezbollah. And the United States government has not made a statement reference this incident, but it was reported by Al Jazeera. So reported on by Al Jazeera. So there is some validity. I can't tell why this would be suspected of a deep fake or any kind of fake video. It looks legit to me. God. The only thing that I question is sunrise. This looks like it's early morning. Sunrise in Baghdad is 5:50 a.m. So where is everybody? Nobody is out. Nobody on the flight line is out. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, there's no humans.
There's no humans.
Where's the humans?
And I bet the drone operator is wondering that themselves because they probably wanted to kill a human with
maybe it's St. Patrick's Day or something. Like everyone's like still asleep. Yeah.
Maybe it's a day after St. Patrick's Day, and dude, everybody is asleep.
Is this a
Keep
deep
looking
fake?
For anything at this point?
Is this a deep fake? There's no humans.
All the helicopters are in storage. There's no aviation assets.
Is this a U.S. base or an Iraqi base?
This is Camp Victory. This is a U.S. base.
I was going to say there'd be humans around. If it's Iraqi base, they're all like, "Fuck it, we're inside."
Yeah, no humans.
Not one thing.
Boom, and it just hits a random door.
I think that was a gym.
It could be anything. It just hits a random.
Oh, okay, so I'm not believing it. If there's not a single person walking around,
that is a little odd.
I don't believe it, dude.
It's a little odd. I thought maybe sunrise was really early, maybe in Iraq, like 4:00, and nobody is up then. But no, it was almost 6:00 in the morning. Somebody had to be jogging down the flight line,
going to a bathroom.
Yeah, nope. But apparently, maybe they hit the wrong side of the base. Maybe they should have been, at the
deep fake, bro. That's AI.
I don't know. Al Jazeera reported on it.
6:06 a.m. is sunrise in Baghdad.
Okay.
Right now, 6:06.
All right. Well, there you go.
That's strange. Nah, dude, a giant military base with not a single human around. I don't buy that.
It's interesting.
Or maybe that's like the day after the Super Bowl or something. I don't know.
Nobody knows. Okay, let's end it on a high note. This just came through the wire. Okay, this is just techno music. Let me get rid of the techno music.
Shit.
This just got released. This video like an hour before we recorded this podcast on Friday morning. This is the Ukrainians destroying a Ka-52 alligator attack helicopter in mid-flight with a fiber optic FPV drone.
Helicopters have no defense. There's no defense to this. Helicopters cannot defend this.
Look at this. Look at it. Perfect vector right in the front. Just got lucky in the front of the helicopter.
Was he hanging out in ambush?
Who knows?
Did the drone come up and was he waiting in an ambush for something else? Maybe.
Here's and then the pilot and the co-pilot, they get cleaned up afterwards.
Oh, dude.
So boom.
The other one didn't get it.
That one didn't get it, but another one did. And here's the video that hits it right like on the rocket pod. Looks like right there. Boom.
There's no defense, dude. You can't defend against that.
And we've talked about this before. The KA-52 alligator has this ejection system.
Dude, it is whack.
Where
It is freaking whack.
It has a dual rotor propeller, so it's two sets of propellers, and the propeller blades blow off, and then the pilot and the co-pilot eject straight up out of this helicopter. It's the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Oh, dude, they got.
And
the
there's one of the
pilots,
pilots. Oh, we get double tapped. Yeah.
That's gruesome.
Let's just watch it one more time while I talk about this. Apparently, these pilots ejected and survived, and then we see in this in the video, the Ukrainians hunt them down with FPV drones right here.
There's no place to hide, dude. There's
no place to hide. And they kill them. They find them and they kill these pilots. And
dude, as soon as that dude saw that helicopter, he's like, "Bro, we got to get this. These guys are too cocky. I don't know how close they're aligned." Like I'm finishing up my book right now on the cost of war in Ukraine and who profited from it. And I'm like, the attack helicopter is fucking dead.
Yeah.
A cheap fucking $1,000 FPV drone's going to take out your $20 million helicopter. You have no defense to it. You're not built to defend this. You can't. Oh, and then they just, oh my God, they cleaned up the pilots.
And this pilot might be faking, just lying there.
I would.
They're not gonna,
what are you going to do at this point? What are you going to do? Except play possum. No, dude, his face looks so pale. I don't know. I think he's dead.
Boom. Well, he's dead now because they hit him right in the head with an FPV drone.
Oh, that's gruesome.
His fellow pilot was right next to him, burning, literally burning up.
What
a way to go!
Place to
what a way to go!
You can't get away.
That's your good news story for the week.
We'd be
all
dead
the bad
too.
Stuff happening.
We'd be dead too if that was us. We have no answers to that.
There's no answer to the FPV drone.
12 gauge shotgun. Did you hear the Marine
shotgun.
Corps? I think bought 12,000 12 gauge shotguns for
they better start
drone
practicing.
defense.
Because we've said this before,
Drone
the
defense.
Norwegian shotgun champion went out on a range with FPV drones and tried to shoot them down.
What
and
happened?
He could not shoot shit. He did not hit a single FPV drone.
Dude.
That is not a military test. That is not a military technology demonstration. That is when you actually try to do what you want to do, which is shoot down an FPV drone. He could not do it.
Were the drones maneuvering, or are they just like how the U.S. does it? A hovering drone,
No. This was not a military test. This was an actual real world test where they actually try to get real world data on how successful it was to shoot down a maneuvering FPV drone trying to kill you.
That's hard.
He could not hit a single one. This is not a clay pigeon
he's a
flying in an arc. He's the Norwegian. I guess he was the Norwegian shotgun champion.
He's a baller.
Yeah, he couldn't do it. So, hey, Marines, start practicing.
Okay, but the problem is he was not a Marine.
That's right.
They will be able to do it.
He doesn't know shit.
They will be able to pull this off.
Just because he practices shotgun all the time, every day.
Oh, clay pigeon
years of his
in
life.
a perfect arc. It doesn't move.
10,000 hours. Anyways.
He's got more money than us.
That's it. That was War Week Friday. If you like the
Very
Flash
intellectual
podcast.
Very intellectual today.
If you like the Flash Traffic podcast, leave a comment. Simply go to whatever YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, whatever you listen to or watch this podcast on, and leave a comment. And guess what? If it's not completely stupid, we will actually respond.
Well, dude, even if it is, this podcast is stupid.
That's right.
Even if
what
it
am
is.
I saying? We'll respond to, for 1 week only, we will respond to whatever comment you put on the comments, no matter how stupid it is. I will respond to every fucking comment,
it's okay.
no matter how ridiculous it is, whether it's on social media too, whether it's on Blue Sky or Twitter or LinkedIn or wherever. You leave a comment, I will respond to it.
Tell us about the strategic logic of invading Greenland. Let's go, bro. Spin it out. Let's do this.
Tell us your thoughts.
Maybe we just don't get it.
Your thoughts are as good as our thoughts.
We just don't get it.
Your thoughts are at least as good as Phillips O'Brien.
Dude, why are you dragging him? Why don't you get him on the show?
He's terrible.
Why don't you get him on the show, dude? He's a nice guy.
I wouldn't do it. No. Also, one last
Him and Mick
pitch.
Ryan are gonna bitch slap you, bro. You know
Maybe
that's
Mick
coming.
Ryan. I could deal with him.
You're gonna bitch slap you, dude.
One last pitch for the Flash Traffic Podcast. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe. Apparently, according to the metrics that they send me, there are a lot of people listening, and the number of people that listen to our podcast is not keeping up with the expected number of subscribers.
What?
It is, yeah. Apparently, a lot of people are just freeloading and just listening without
motherfucker.
subscribing. And
no, bro, you don't freeload.
Not cool.
Oh, you think you're fucking France? You don't fucking freeload, bro.
This is not Europe.
No,
okay,
not Malta, bro. Oh, that ain't cool, bro. We don't do that.
No. I had some other statistics, actually. I'll leave you with this. Trump wants to spend 1.5 trillion next year on defense.
How much debt can we go into? You say he's not a Russian agent. What else would a Russian agent do to implode our country and economy and allies? I would do that.
Look, he's trying to, and I'll leave it at this. He's trying to make the United States, we're spending money like Europe. The only difference is Europeans get to have a 20-hour work week when they spend all their money. And we 35. Get to bomb the shit out of third world countries. That's all we get.
With no explanation to the United States public because they don't deserve one.
No, none needed. All right. Good day, sir. Bye-bye.
The Flash Traffic Podcast.